If you're over 60, you need to hear this because the seafood sitting on your plate, the one you were told was heart-healthy, low-fat, and protein-rich, may be the very thing that's silently destroying your circulation, damaging your joints, and killing your erections. Yes, you heard that right. Certain seafoods often praised in the media are quietly eroding the systems that keep a man strong, intimate, and independent. And for millions of seniors, the damage is already underway. I'm Dr. Mojit Kara, a board-certified men's health specialist with over 3 decades of experience helping older men reclaim their vitality. I've spent my career studying how diet affects aging, especially how hidden food choices impact hormones, blood flow, and the body's ability to heal. What I'm about to share comes from peer-reviewed science and real-life patient transformations. Here's what may surprise you. Not all seafood is your friend after 60. In fact, 4 of the most popular seafoods in America are linked to higher rates of joint pain, cholesterol spikes, nerve sensitivity, and yes, declining performance in the bedroom. And yet they're everywhere. Meanwhile, 4 overlooked marine foods backed by real research can help repair collagen, boost energy, reduce inflammation, and reignite blood flow. Most men over 60 have never even tried them. So today, I'll walk you through all 8. The worst ones you need to avoid immediately, and the best ones you should be eating every week. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how to start with a simple 7-day plan that could change how your body feels, moves, and performs. Stay with me. This may be the most important health advice you hear this year. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a health tip designed specifically for men over 60. And if you're finding this video helpful so far, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me create content that truly supports your journey to better health. All right, let's begin with the truth. Most seniors never hear. The 4 worst seafoods you should avoid after 60. These might look clean, taste familiar, and even appear on heart-healthy menus, but inside your body they trigger inflammation, spike cholesterol, strain your kidneys, and silently weaken your circulation. If you're struggling with joint pain, fatigue, digestive issues, or fading intimacy, these common seafood choices could be part of the problem. Let's break them down one by one. 1. Squid. The squid cholesterol bomb hiding in your diet. Let me tell you about a patient I had not long ago. George, 67 years old, retired Navy, proud of his diet and active lifestyle. He came to see me for persistent joint pain, rising blood pressure, and frequent fatigue that just didn't make sense for a guy who walked 3 miles a day and claimed to eat clean. When we looked closely at his diet, one thing stood out. He was eating squid 2 to 3 times a week, grilled, fried, and salads, you name it. He thought he was making a smart, lean choice. But what he didn't know, and what most seniors don't realize, is that squid is quietly working against you once you pass 60. On the surface, squid looks healthy. It's low in fat, high in protein, and shows up often on menus labeled as light or heart-friendly. But here's what's lurking underneath the surface. Just 3 ounces of cooked squid contains almost 200 milligrams of cholesterol. That's over 65% of your daily recommended intake in one small serving. And after 60, your body doesn't manage cholesterol the way it used to. Your liver slows down, your arteries become less flexible, and that excess cholesterol doesn't just pass through it, lingers. It builds up, it narrows blood vessels, especially the small ones that matter most for circulation, including down there where blood flow really counts. But cholesterol isn't the only problem. Squid is also high in purines compounds that your body breaks down into uric acid. And if you've ever felt that deep, fiery pain in your big toe, knee, or ankle, you know what uric acid can do. Gout isn't just about alcohol or red meat. In fact, seafoods like squid are some of the biggest hidden triggers. After 60, your kidneys are already working harder, and when uric acid builds up faster than your body can flush it out, it starts forming sharp crystals in your joints. George's knee pain wasn't from aging, it was his squid habit, plain and simple, and when he cut it out, the difference was night and day. Science backs this up. A 2021 study published in the journal Nutrients found that older adults with high dietary cholesterol intake were 43% more likely to show signs of arterial stiffness and had a 31% higher risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks or strokes. Another study in the Journal of Gerontology showed that seniors consuming high-purine seafood more than twice a week had a 54% increased risk of chronic joint inflammation over a 2-year period. That's not speculation. That's hard data. The problem with squid is that it hides in plain sight. It doesn't look greasy, it doesn't taste salty. But inside your body, it behaves like a slow-acting toxin, tightening blood vessels, feeding inflammation, and setting the stage for joint pain, fatigue, and erectile decline. So if you're over 60 and waking up stiff, swollen, or just feeling off, it might not be age. It might be your seafood. George made the change, and within weeks he felt younger, lighter, and more energetic than he had in years. Now, if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear what's next. It looks like crab tastes like crab and even smells like the ocean, but it's not crab at all. And what it's doing to your blood sugar and brain may shock you. Let's talk about imitation crab too. Imitation crab, a fake food with real imitation crab consequences. I'll never forget the conversation I had with Bill, a 72-year-old former electrician from Michigan who came into my office frustrated and confused, Doc. He said, "I've cut back on red meat. I don't touch soda, and I've been eating more seafood, especially crab, but I feel worse. My blood sugar's up, I get tired after lunch, and my ankles swell by evening." I asked him to bring in a list of what he was actually eating. Turns out what he thought she thought was crab was imitation crab. Those bright red and white sticks he'd been tossing into salads, casseroles, and snacks almost every other day. Now here's the truth. Imitation crab isn't crab. Not even close. It's a processed paste called surimi, made from pulverized white fish leftovers mixed with refined starches, sugar, salt, and artificial flavorings to make it look, taste, and smell like the real thing. And while it may seem harmless, especially for seniors trying to eat lighter, or on a budget, imitation crab is one of the worst traps for people over 60. Let me explain why. First, the starches in imitation crab, typically wheat or tapioca, digest incredibly fast, triggering a blood sugar spike that's almost identical to eating white bread. A 2020 study in clinical nutrition found that surimi-based seafood causes rapid glycemic responses, raising insulin levels sharply, and that's a serious problem for seniors, especially those dealing with prediabetes or insulin resistance, which are already common after 60. In Bill's case, this explained his midday crashes, his brain fog, and that creeping belly weight he just couldn't shake. But the trouble doesn't stop at sugar. Imitation crab is also loaded with sodium, upwards of 700 milligrams per serving, and that's before adding any soy sauce seasoning or sauces. For an older adult, that kind of salt load puts a heavy strain on already aging kidneys and stiffening arteries. It can cause fluid retention, raise blood pressure, and even contribute to dizziness or swelling, especially in the lower legs. When Bill cut it out of his routine and switched to real unprocessed seafood, his blood pressure dropped almost 10 points in just a few weeks, and that foggy feeling gone. Even more concerning is what imitation crab doesn't give you. There's virtually no omega-3 fatty acids, no zinc, no selenium, none of the essential nutrients that real shellfish provide to support brain health, circulation, and immunity. It's a food that pretends to be helpful, but leaves your body empty-handed. And for men over 60, when every bite needs to count, that's a silent risk not worth taking. So if you've been 60 fooled by the packaging or the price, you're not alone. The seafood industry banks on imitation because it's cheap to make and easy to sell, but your body deserves better. It deserves real nutrition that strengthens your heart, fuels your mind, and supports performance where it matters most. Now, if that shocked you, brace yourself, because the next seafood on this list is even sneakier. It's praised for being clean, tender, and served in high-end restaurants, but it hides a toxic metal that targets your kidneys without a sound. Let's talk about scallops. Scallops. 3 scallops. The clean shellfish that's hiding heavy metals. A few years back, I had a patient named Harold, 74 years old, sharp-minded, loved fine dining. He and his wife had a weekly tradition, Friday night, at their favorite seafood restaurant. He always ordered the seared scallops. They're clean, healthy, and light, he told me. But over time, Harold started experiencing strange symptoms. Fatigue that lingered, rising blood pressure, and most concerning changes in his kidney function. We ran tests. No diabetes, no infection. But something didn't add up. It wasn't until we reviewed his diet in detail that I noticed the patterned scallops week after week. Now, scallops don't raise red flags for most people. They're not fried, they're not breaded, and they're often served with nothing more than a dash of lemon and herbs. But for seniors, especially those over 60, scallops may carry a hidden threat: cadmium, a toxic heavy metal that accumulates in shellfish, especially filter feeders like scallops. Unlike water-based contaminants that vary, cadmium is absorbed and stored in the tissue of the scallop itself, and when you eat them, it enters your body and doesn't leave easily. A 2022 study published in Toxicology Reports revealed that just a few servings of scallops a week could deliver enough cadmium to put an older adult close to the World Health Organization's weekly safety threshold. That's no small thing. Cadmium builds up silently, and your kidneys, the very organs already working overtime as you age, are the ones that take the hit. Over time, this heavy metal exposure can lead to protein loss in the urine, persistent fatigue, and a steady decline in energy and stamina that many seniors write off as just getting older. But the danger doesn't end there. You might think you're getting the brain and heart benefits of seafood, but scallops provide almost none of the omega-3 fatty acids your body needs. A 100-gram serving of scallops contains less than 30 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined, the key fatty acids that protect your brain, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation. For comparison, oysters, just one of the seafoods I'll share with you shortly, offer over 500 milligrams in the same serving size. That's a staggering difference. So not only are scallops introducing heavy metals into your system, they're also robbing you of the nutrients you likely think you're getting, and the worst part, the damage builds up slowly. There are no flashing warning lights, just fatigue pressure creeping up, and kidney health that quietly declines behind the scenes. By the time you feel it, the damage is already well underway. When I asked Harold to cut scallops from his weekly routine and replace them with cleaner, nutrient-dense options, the shift in his lab results was remarkable. His energy returned, his blood pressure stabilized, and more importantly, his kidney function stopped declining. But if you think cadmium is bad, just wait until you hear what comes next. It's the most popular seafood in America, and it's packed with cholesterol, hard-to-digest proteins, antibiotic residues, and shell fragments that inflame your gut. And yet it's being marketed to seniors as light and healthy. Let's talk about shrimp. Shrimp. 4. Shrimp, the silent saboteur of male health. Not long ago, I sat across from a man named Carl, 68, widowed ex-Marine, proud of his discipline. He told me he didn't drink, didn't smoke, watched his weight, and made sure to eat light. He leaned in and said, "Doc, I eat shrimp almost every other night. It's lean, it's healthy, right?" But Carl wasn't feeling like himself. He was winded climbing stairs. His blood pressure had crept up. And the worst part? The part that shook his confidence, his intimacy, had faded slowly, silently. He thought it was just age catching up. But it wasn't age, it was shrimp. You see, shrimp has been branded as the healthy man's protein. Low in fat, easy to cook, served in everything from salads to stir-fries. But what most people don't know, especially men over 60, is that shrimp comes with a hidden cost that directly targets your blood flow, your heart, and yes, your performance. Just 3 ounces of shrimp, barely a small handful, contains around 180 milligrams of cholesterol. That might not sound like much, but if you're over 60, that's a big deal. Your arteries are already less flexible. Your liver processes fats more slowly, and when you pile in high cholesterol foods like shrimp, it pushes your system past its limit. A 2021 study in Circulation found that seniors who consumed more than 300 milligrams of cholesterol per day had a 35% higher risk of stroke and a 24% higher risk of heart disease. That's not theoretical, it's real. But cholesterol is only the beginning. Shrimp contains a muscle protein called tropomyoin, which is notoriously hard to digest. In fact, shrimp is one of the top food allergens in the world. And here's what's alarming. Seniors can develop new allergies out of nowhere. Your immune system becomes more sensitive and unpredictable with age. Even mild reactions, bloating, rashes, gut discomfort can chip away at your digestive strength and leave you feeling off. Then there's the shell itself, chitin. Even when you think you've peeled it clean, tiny fragments make it into the meat. For someone with a youthful gut, this might not matter. But for older adults, especially those with IBS, constipation, or leaky gut, chitin can stir up inflammation and worsen digestion. And we haven't even touched on the farming issue. Most shrimp sold in stores today are farm-raised and imported. They're often treated with antibiotics, like oxytetracycline, banned in many countries but still used widely. A 2022 study found that over 40% of tested frozen shrimp contained residues of these drugs. That means every time you eat shrimp, you may also be consuming chemicals that disrupt your gut bacteria, fuel inflammation, and increase resistance to antibiotics your body might need one day. When Carl removed shrimp from his weekly routine and replaced it with cleaner, safer seafood choices, things changed. His digestion improved, his blood pressure steadied, and slowly his confidence in the bedroom began to return. So if shrimp has been a regular guest on your dinner plate, it might be time to say goodbye because the damage it causes inside your arteries, your gut, your hormones is far from harmless. But here's the good news. The sea also gives us powerful allies. There are 4 seafoods often overlooked but backed by science that can help you rebuild circulation, reduce joint pain, restore energy, and support the kind of intimate performance you thought was gone for good. Let me show you what they are. 1. Cucumber, the collagen-rich healer, sea cucumber. A few winters ago, I had a patient named Leonard, 66 years old, a retired postal worker who used to walk miles a day in his younger years. Now just getting up from a chair brought discomfort. His knees ached, his wrists felt tight. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm drying out from the inside." That image stuck with me because it's exactly what happens as we age. We lose collagen silently, steadily, and when that structural glue disappears, our joints grind, our skin thins, and our strength fades. That's when I introduced Leonard to something he'd never heard of. Sea cucumber. It's not exactly a household name, but for centuries this odd-looking marine animal has been treasured in traditional Asian medicine as a remedy for pain, stiffness, and slow recovery. And now modern science is showing us why sea cucumber is incredibly rich in compounds. Your aging body craves like chondroitin sulfate and unique anti-inflammatory molecules called terpene glycosides. These compounds help nourish cartilage, reduce inflammation, and ease stiffness without the harsh side effects of over-the-counter pain medications. In a recent study published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, seniors who consumed sea cucumber extract daily for 12 weeks reported up to a 35% reduction in joint pain and a significant improvement in mobility. That's not just a statistic. That's the ability to walk again without fear of pain. But there's more. Sea cucumber is naturally high in marine collagen, a form of protein your body absorbs easily. Unlike the powdered supplements that often pass through your system, the collagen in sea cucumber is paired with amino acids and minerals that actually help your body rebuild. Leonard started slow. Just a small serving, once or twice a week, simmered into a gentle soup. After a month, he came back to my office, smiling. "I don't feel like I'm falling apart anymore," he said. "It's like someone oiled the hinges. That's what healing should feel like. Not dramatic, not instant, but steady, sustainable, and real." What I love most about sea cucumber is that it doesn't try to do too much. It focuses where you need it most on the joints, the skin, and the deeper connective tissues that hold everything together. For older men, especially those who feel like their knees, shoulders, or lower back are giving out, it offers a quiet kind of strength, the kind that builds from the inside one bite at a time. And while sea cucumber may seem unfamiliar, I believe it's one of the most underrated tools for staying active, strong, and independent well into your later years. But what if you could go even further? What if there was a marine food that not only reduced pain, but also blocked the very enzyme that causes inflammation in the first place? There is, and it's found only in one place on Earth. Let me introduce you to the powerful secret inside green-lipped mussels. Oysters. 2 oysters, nature's multivitamin for older men. I remember the first time I suggested oysters to a patient named Thomas. He was 71, recently retired, and told me he felt like he was slowing down too early. His words stuck with me. "Doc, I'm not ready to fade. I just need something to wake my body up again." He wasn't looking for shortcuts or miracle pills, just something real natural, and I told him, "Thomas, you need to meet the oyster." Oysters are not just a delicacy for special occasions. For men over 60, they're one of the most powerful, nutrient-dense foods you can put on your plate. In fact, if I could bottle up a mineral blend to support energy, hormones, immunity, brain health, and performance, it would look a lot like what nature already packed into an oyster. Let's start with zinc. Just 2 medium-sized oysters can deliver over 100% of your daily zinc needs. And for senior men, that matters more than you might think. Zinc plays a key role in testosterone production, immune defense, wound healing, and even your ability to think clearly. As you age, your body absorbs less zinc from food and deficiency becomes more common and more dangerous. In fact, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that nearly 40% of adults over 60 were zinc deficient without even knowing it. Thomas had no idea his thinning hair, slower recovery, and lack of drive could be tied to something as simple as a mineral. But once he started including oysters in his diet, he felt sharper, more energized, and surprisingly more himself. And that's just one benefit. Oysters are also packed with vitamin B12, critical for protecting your nerves and fueling your metabolism. A 2021 study in the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging showed that low B12 level in seniors were strongly linked to cognitive decline and memory loss. Just 3 ounces of oysters contain more B12 than a full serving of steak, and in a form that your body absorbs easily. But the list doesn't stop there. Oysters also deliver selenium, which acts like a bodyguard for your thyroid and immune system. They provide iron to help combat fatigue, and they offer something that's often overlooked but essential. Copper. Copper supports bone strength, collagen formation, and red blood cell production. All vital functions that decline with age but can be supported with the right foods. Now I get it. Oysters might not be something you're used to eating, but if you prepare them properly, steamed, lightly cooked, or even raw if sourced safely, they can become a powerful part of your weekly routine. For men like Thomas, they've become more than food. They're a form of fuel, one that helps rebuild what age tries to steal. So if you've been feeling weaker, slower, or more forgetful lately, it might not just be age. It might be missing nutrition. And oysters are one of the fastest, most natural ways to replenish your reserves. But as good as oysters are, what comes next might surprise you even more. This marine food is native to the waters of New Zealand and contains a rare kind of omega-3 your body can't get from ordinary fish. And if you suffer from joint pain, inflammation, or stiffness, this one might just be the missing piece you've been searching for. Let's talk about green-lipped mussels. Green-lipped mussels. 3 green-lipped mussels the omega-3 powerhouse seniors ignore. When Robert first came to see me, he was 69, a retired teacher with a love for hiking. But lately his knees had been holding him back. He described it like this: "It's not just pain, it's like my joints have rusted overnight." He was tired of anti-inflammatories, tired of avoiding stairs, and honestly just tired of feeling old. He asked me what I'd recommend. That wasn't a pill. I looked him in the eye and said, green-lipped mussels. He blinked, surprised. What's that? He asked. And that's the thing. Most seniors in the U.S. have never even heard of them, let alone tasted one. But these mussels, native to New Zealand, hold something rare, a type of omega-3 fatty acid you won't find in regular fish. It's called ETA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and it's a game-changer for joint health. Unlike the typical omega-3s, EPA and DHA-ETA works by targeting and blocking a specific enzyme in the body called 5-lipoxygenase. This enzyme is a major trigger for chronic inflammation, especially in the joints. In a 2020 study, published in Nutrients, seniors who took green-lipped mussel extract daily for 12 weeks reported a 42% drop in joint discomfort and a 35% improvement in physical function. That's not just a small boost. That's the difference between wincing every time you get up and walking with ease again. But these mussels don't stop at inflammation. They're also packed with zinc, iron, selenium, and iodine-4, essential minerals that become harder for the body to absorb. With age, zinc helps with immunity and testosterone. Iron supports energy and circulation. Selenium protects the prostate and thyroid. And iodine keeps your metabolism running strong. When Robert added green-lipped mussels to his weekly meals, steamed gently with garlic and lemon, nothing fancy, he noticed the change within the first month. Less stiffness in the morning, more range of motion on hikes, and perhaps the best part, he didn't feel like he was managing his age anymore. He felt like he was living again. That's what I want for every senior man watching this. Not just to reduce pain, but to restore your quality of life in ways you didn't think were still possible. Food can do that if you choose the right ones. And while green-lipped mussels are powerful, the next marine food on our list takes things to an entirely different level. It doesn't come from an animal at all. It's a sea plant, and yet it contains over 90 trace minerals, supports your joints, skin, thyroid, gut, and even your lungs. It's a collagen-building energy, restoring powerhouse that's helping men feel 10 years younger naturally. Let's talk about COSS4. COSS, the ultimate marine medicine, sea moss. I remember a moment with one of my longtime patients, Frank. He was 73, thoughtful, soft-spoken, and battling with something many men don't talk about. Slowing down inside and out. Doc, he said, I feel like my body's dimming. Not sick, just dim. He'd tried vitamins, powders, even testosterone boosters. Nothing felt quite right. What he needed wasn't a stimulant. He needed nourishment. And that's when I introduced him to something he'd never considered before. Sea moss. Now, sea moss isn't flashy. It's not something you'll find on the front page of a grocery flyer, but it might just be the most powerful natural remedy the ocean has to offer, especially for older men. Sometimes called Irish moss, this red seaweed has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, but today, modern science is finally catching up and confirming what many cultures all read. New sea moss contains over 90 trace minerals, nutrients your body needs for nearly every biological function, from circulation to digestion to hormone balance. It doesn't just give you one thing. It gives your body the raw materials. It's been craving for years, minerals like magnesium, potassium, iodine, selenium, sulfur, and zinc, all in a natural, absorbable form. For men over 60, this matters more than ever because our bodies stop storing and using nutrients as efficiently, and we start to feel it in our joints, our skin, our energy, even our bedroom performance. But here's what really makes COSS remarkable. It's loaded with compounds that support collagen production. It doesn't contain collagen directly, but it's rich in vitamin C sulfur and the amino acid proline. 3 building blocks your body uses to make collagen on its own, and collagen is what gives strength to your joints, elasticity to your skin, and structure to your gut lining. In a 2022 study published in Marine Drugs, seniors who consumed COSS daily saw a 37% improvement in joint mobility and a 29% reduction in skin dryness after just 8 weeks. That's not just theory, that's transformation. It's also incredibly soothing to the digestive system. Sea moss is rich in mucilage, a soft gel-like fiber that coats the intestines, reduces inflammation, and helps seal the lining of the gut. For men suffering from acid reflux, bloating irregularity, or general digestive fatigue, this can be life-changing. And let's not forget it supports the thyroid thanks to its iodine content, which helps regulate metabolism and energy levels. When Frank began adding a tablespoon of sea moss gel into his morning routine, blended into tea or a smoothie, he felt a shift he hadn't expected. He described it as clarity in the fog. He moved better, slept deeper and slowly. That dim light he described began to brighten not overnight, but steadily. So if you've never tried sea moss, I encourage you to consider it. It's plant-based, gentle, and works across the systems that matter most as we age. Your joints, your gut, your energy, your strength. And now that we've explored the best and worst seafoods for men over 60, it's time to bring this all together. In the next part of this video, I'll give you a practical doctor-designed 7-day action plan that shows you exactly how to start restoring your energy, improving circulation, and feeling like yourself again, starting with your very next meal. Stay with me. This is where it all begins. Conclusion. Conclusion. If you've made it this far, let me tell you something from the heart. This wasn't just another list of do's and don'ts. This was a wake-up call and a second chance, because what you eat after 60 doesn't just feed your body, it shapes your future. And now, you know the truth. 4 seafoods, squid imitation, crab, scallops, and shrimp aren't supporting you the way you've been told. They quietly raise your cholesterol, stiffen your arteries, burden your kidneys, and disrupt your digestion. They chip away at your energy, your joints, and even your intimacy bit by bit. But the good news, the ocean also offers solutions, real solutions. 4 healing marine foods: sea cucumber, green-lipped mussels, oysters, and sea os. Designed by nature to give you back what time has taken. These aren't exotic miracles. They're time-tested, science-backed foods that rebuild circulation, restore mobility, and revive performance in ways pills never could. I've seen this transformation with my own eyes. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who felt like their best years were behind them, only to discover that their body was still listening. It just needed the right nourishment. So if you're ready to take back control, here's a simple plan to get started. 7 days. 7 steps. Number overwhelm, just action. Let's begin your 7-day seafood reset plan. Day 1. Remove shrimp. Go into your freezer or pantry and take a hard look. If you've got frozen shrimp or shrimp, heavy meals, set them aside. Replace tonight's dinner with a clean protein like grilled salmon or beans if needed, but no shrimp starting today. Day 2. Add oysters. Buy fresh or canned oysters. Steam them lightly or add to a salad. Even just 2 oysters can load your body with zinc and B12, both crucial for testosterone and immune strength. Day 3. Remove imitation crab. Skip the fake crab sticks in your sushi or salad. They spike your blood sugar and offer almost no nutrition. Choose real seafood instead, wild-caught fish. Or if you can't access that, opt for eggs or tofu today. Day 4. Add green-lipped mussels. Look for green-lipped mussel extract or fresh ones online or in health stores. Try steaming them with garlic and lemon. If that's too hard to find, consider taking a freeze-dried supplement, but try to include the real food if possible. Day 5. Remove scallops. If you dine out today, skip the scallops, no matter how elegant they seem. They carry toxic metals and deliver little omega-3. Replace with something better. Sardines, trout, or even chicken thigh with skin for collagen support. Day 6. Add sea cucumber. You can find dried sea cucumber in Asian markets or order online. Soak, simmer slowly. In broth with ginger and herbs and eat it warm. If that's not available, increase your intake of bone, broth or collagen, rich cuts. Today, day 7, start sea moss gel. Prepare your first batch of COS gel rinse, raw sea thoroughly, soak it overnight, and blend into a smooth gel. Add 1 tablespoon to your tea smoothie or soup. You can feel results within a few days, especially in digestion and skin. This is not a diet, it's a reset. And if you repeat this rhythm weekly, you'll begin to notice changes. Less pain in your knees, more clarity in your mind, better sleep, stronger, blood flow, and yes, the return of something many men quietly grieve, the sense of vitality and masculinity they thought was lost. You're not broken, you're rebuilding. And now you have the tools. You've already done the hardest part, learning the truth. Now all that's left is the next bite. Make it count. If this video opened your eyes or gave you something valuable to take home, please don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button. It tells me this content matters to you. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you love who's over 60 and deserves to feel strong again. Leave a comment below. Tell me which seafood surprised you the most. Or just type, "I'm starting today." If you're ready to take that first step, and if you'd like to support this channel so we can keep creating content that empowers older men. Like you, there's a donation link below. Every bit helps us spread this message further.